from confidence to experience. We're going to look at 1 Samuel chapter 17. It's where David slew Goliath. Verse 37, he says, the Lord will deliver me from the paw of the lion, from the paw of the bear, and he will also deliver me from the hand of the Philistine. Saul says to David, go and the Lord be with you. We're going to jump back because I want you to see this. Verse 34, it says, David said to Saul, your servant used to keep sheep for his father. And when there came a lion or a bear and took a lamb from the flock, I went after him and struck him and delivered it out of his mouth. Now, the interesting thing is in verse 37, he keeps talking about the paw of the lion, paw of the bear, in the hand of the Philistine. He's talking about the strength of the individual or of the animal that is attacking. When you go back to 34, he says, I went after him and struck him and delivered it out of his mouth. In other words, he used his hands and his strength that came from the Lord, because look what he said in verse 37, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion. So he's saying the strength of the Lord was with me, but then when you go to verse 34, I went after him and struck him. In other words, David took the strength of the Lord in his hands and he struck the lion, he struck the bear and delivered the animal out of the mouth of those creatures. And he says, and if he rose against me, I caught him by his beard. He caught him with his hands and struck him and killed him. In other words, this was a intimate, personal experience here of the battle that was raging here. This was an attack against these sheep that he was taking care of in his father's flock. And it was important to him to know that they were protected. The Lord was with him. I went. Why? Because the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear. The Lord can deliver us from these attacks, but we have to take the strength of the Lord and the confidence of the Lord into our hands to fight the battles. It's not a physical battle that we fought, even in these circumstances. Yes, there was some physical contact here, but it was the Spirit of God that moved and transcended beyond all this physical stuff into the spiritual realm that overcame the enemy. And this is what David was saying here.